Self-Publishing Podcast, episode number 113.
This episode of the Self-Publishing Podcast is brought to you by 99 Designs, the online marketplace that helps you get outstanding book cover designs at an affordable price. Start your custom design today at 99designs.com/SPP and enjoy a free Power Pack upgrade valued at $99.
Welcome to the Self-Publishing Podcast, where if you want something done right, you've got to do it yourself. And now, here are your hosts, the three guys who hunt Ewoks on the forest moon of Endor, Johnny, Sean, and Dave.
Hey, everyone, and welcome to the Self-Publishing Podcast, the podcast that's all about how to get your words out into the world without contending with agents, publishers, or the other gatekeepers in traditional publishing. I'm Johnny B. Truant, and my co-hosts are Sean Platt, and with the beard that's going to come off next time, and David Wright with the beard that is not going to come off next time. This is the least organized I've felt. We're having a guest. We're having a guest today, and we need to be tidy about our time because Sean needs to get off. So he needs to get off. So he's really urgent about it, and so we need to we can't go long.
The launch sequence has been initiated.
I want to have our guest is Tom Corson-Knowles. He's doing something that I'm betting will make Dave's skin crawl a little bit, but I think it's really cool in terms of getting stuff out there. Well, we'll talk about that. He calls it frictionless publishing. But in the meantime, we're trying to get going, and it's like been the worst morning ever on the Realm and Sand side.
It's been terrible. It's been so terrible.
It's been so sad. So everybody, what we're doing, if you haven't been following Fiction Unboxed, is that Sean and I are in the home stretch of writing our book, The Dream Engine. And so we finished the rough a few days ago. I love the way it came out. I think it's fantastic. And we decided that I was going to do a final polish, and that was like a last-minute addition. So not only are we writing the book, and then I'm handing off with Sean following right behind me 2 drafts of an edit, getting confused in terms of have I read that before, or is it just because I just did edit and then polish in 2 separate sections, and then sending them off to Jason, our editor, and then trying to get them back from him so that Sean can incorporate the edits, hand them off to me, and then I go through my polish, and that's all got to happen in a few days.
It's a stupid amount of moving parts in like such a compressed time period.
Whose brilliant idea was this?
Well, I don't know. There are things that need to be improved about our system, but I think that it's worked pretty well until this morning. So what happened was Scrivener refused to play. Maybe it's not Scrivener, maybe it's Dropbox, or maybe it's Sean's Mavericks OS.
I have a theory. I have a theory on this actually. So I'm thinking that technology, just in general, was like, hey, remember what you said in the beam? Fuck you. And it's just been like,
do you think maybe this is the
beginning? An
beginning
Alaskan pipeline since.
Do you think this is
this is it.
The beginning of what Dave was talking about, where he's
absolutely, yes. I'm
starting
sure.
With our
I'm positive.
That's where it all begins, starting with your
yeah. So Scrivener wasn't playing nice. Yes,
yeah.
Yes. No, this is terrible. It's one Scrivener file at a time. But we
their motto.
We don't have
Defeating
problems
the world
with
one
Scrivener
file at a time.
We're sharing. We're working in the Scrivener files at the same time now with a copy, and it's just it's yeah, it's messy. So
that's why you have decoy Scrivener.
So
right.
Here's what happened. Here's what happened this morning. So the polish has been going quite well for me, and so I've been able to go pretty fast. Like it ended up pretty clean. With the exception of the first few chapters, I had to move more stuff around. And so I worked extra hours last night. Like, we've both been putting in way more time than we want. And my mother's here, and so I've been ignoring her. Like, hey, Mom, like, I remember that I'm in here. Like, that's cool. And so I knew that I got through a lot, and I knew that I just had like 9,000 words. And at the clip I was going, that's like an hour and a half of work this morning, and I have 4 hours that I can use before the podcast real safely. And so I was like bugging Sean all night, like, give me more, give me more, give me more. Where's the more? Where's more? Are you hearing from Jason? And Sean's like, dude, I'm doing 6,000 fucking things. I'm up until 1 a.m. And then so Sean turns around and he's probably been like, hey, Jason, hurry, 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 hurry. So everybody's nudging each other because there's a backup happening. And so I needed new files to work on this morning. And Sean's like, okay, I got the edits. And I'm like, I'll work on what I have, make a copy of the file, work in there. We'll drag the chapters over. I'm going to the gym anyway. I'll go early. And so you have all the time in the morning to incorporate those edits, just like 10 a.m., and it'd be fine. What happens is, I'm like, hey, Sean, I'm out of the file. Go to town. He goes, can you give me something that indicates, like, last change you might have made so that I know that I have the current file? And I'm like, okay, I remember there's this one word that I know I added, and no, it's not there. You're sure it's not there? No, it's definitely not there. Okay, well, tell me some other stuff. We go through this whole thing. And it wasn't the current version. It's synced on his end. It's letting him open it, but it's wrong. It's wrong. It's
but
not
this
the
is
right
also the
version.
third. I had to go. It wouldn't open on my computer. I had to go to my laptop, which is barely working right now.
That's probably the problem. You have it open on two different things, and it's overwriting each other.
Well, no, that's what happened later, but that hadn't happened yet.
So did you? Yeah.
I feel nauseous for you all.
Well, but
it was
okay
terrible.
It's okay in the end. It works out okay in the end. But so what we ended up having to do is, I mean, it was just a stupid amount of communication and trying to figure things out. So Sean makes a copy of the file. I'm like, I know I got those first like 10 chapters or something because I've been through those. I read them. Like I know they're good on my computer. So, and Sean goes like in the middle of this. I may have overwritten your file with my current bullshit that I'm doing over here. So,
all right.
So I restore. Hold on, I restore from a backup, and I'm like, I know I got those first chapters. They're fine from a backup, which you're worrying about version issues with that. And so I said, make a duplicate, rename it something so it's clearly another file. Then go in and delete all the first chapters, drag them somewhere else, and then just incorporate Jason's edits, give me a new file, and I'll drag them over on my machine because at least it's current. And just trying to keep, like, do we have the right number of chapters? Is the word count about right? Has just been like...
It was like having a pile of needles. You're staring at this giant pile of needles, and someone's like, can you find the three shortest ones? And we just didn't know.
No, worse. It's like having a string of needles on a string, and they fall off, and somebody says, put them back in order. And don't mix them up with those. Don't mix the silver needles up with the ones that are slightly less gray.
Yeah, it was just, and I'm just sitting here, my stomach. And keep in mind, like I haven't had a lot of sleep, so I'm feeling kind of stupid too, right? Like my sleep is just way, way, way less than it's been, what it should have been. And having said all this, I am so proud that we're on the home stretch. Like this is done. Like we have a couple of days left. But we're done. I've been reading the polishes out loud to my family, which has really been a cool. I've never had that as part of the process before. But I'm writing something that they can read, and so that final polish has just been an audio, and I'm putting those up as fast as I can. But everything takes longer than I expect. And I finished this morning. I finished right before all this happened. I was having the best day because Haley woke up early. And so I didn't think I was going to be able to read until like 5 o'clock tonight. But she was up really early, which isn't like her in summer at all. And so she came in and we finished the book, and I just love reading the ending out loud. And what's cool too, here's just a really quick process thing. So when Johnny was finished with writing the ending, he said, you know what, you're probably going to have to change a lot. I'm on empty. I wrote 12,000 words today. I just had nothing left inside me. You'll probably have to rewrite that. Let me know. I'm happy to rewrite it too. I'm done. And it's almost as is. Like I did so little work there. And maybe when you see it, you'll feel differently. That
either means that it's amazing or that Sean's on is just as stupid as I am, and we're both wrong.
Right. I think it equally could be like.
Well, there's one thing you guys are glossing all over, and I think the question on everybody's mind right now is, did Johnny make it to the gym or not?
Yes.
Oh yeah, he totally did. No, he totally did.
Let me share the cover. I have the cover. Is this final or is this? Well, I think we're gonna maybe ask for some little contrasty things, but
I did. I actually sent that email this morning, but this is very close to final. Yeah.
very close to final. Okay, so on my screen here, this is our this is it, the Dream Engine, and I really love the way it came out. The thing that we decided to ask if she could do a little more is, I think that the blunderbuss which is the big engine in the back, gets lost a little bit because, well, it was actually Sean that brought this up, but I agree. Just because it is grays and chromes, and I think we need something.
I think it needs copper
to,
pipe. If the pipe is copper, we're good. We're good. I like it a lot if we got copper in there.
But I love it. I think it's a really, really cool cover. So
yeah, I think it's beautiful. I love her choker.
Differently.
What'd you say, Dave?
I think the names should be spaced a little closer together. Well, maybe not. There's that thing in the background okay, never mind.
Yeah, and that's where the people are, and I love the people because it shows the scale.
Right, and that's the thing you don't notice until you look at it for a while. So that between our names, you can actually see the size of this thing because these little.
Right, I think the separation of the names actually makes you see the people.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't see them before. Well, I mean, it looks a lot darker on, obviously on the Hangout.
But I can't wait because this will be our first book done in hardback. And to see it in hardback with that cover, and she's doing little chapter illustrations, so it'll have the chapter, the name of the chapter, and then like a little black and white thing, and I just can't wait to see this. It's just, I'm so proud of what we've done. I'm so proud of the story now that it's out. To like see our process, to sort of deconstruct the process was amazing.
Can y'all hear a vacuum in the background?
No.
Okay,
no.
My wife picked now to decide to vacuum.
Oh, I thought
I can't hear it. I think you're good.
I thought you were referring to a different kind of vacuum, like maybe you were just out in space and there's a black hole out there or something.
Oh, I thought he was
Honey,
talking
turn that black hole down.
Vacuuming my soul.
Vacuuming my soul. I learned something kind of interesting. This is so I've learned that I write to music, but I can't edit to music. Like, that's interesting. I thought that was kind of neat. But I need to block out the sound, and what I've done in the past is to listen to soundtracks because they're instrumental. But what I found is I don't know if it's just because I'm stupid for Fiction Unboxed right now, but I was doing it and I'm like, I can't concentrate. Like I'm going to analyze every sentence. It's going to take me 15 times as long. I can't read it like a reader and then notice when something is amiss. So I've been experimenting with stuff. My wife falls asleep to TV, and I don't want it TV, and it's messing up my sleep. Like people say, if you're having trouble sleeping, get the TV out of the bedroom. So we're trying to like replace that sound, and one of the things I was reading about is white noise, and just to wash things out. And so I've started using white noise. I found a white noise generator site on the web through my headphones, and it's awesome. It's like having quiet. Like forceful quiet. Like I'm gonna drown you out with quiet. Let me get that website really quick if anybody wants it. It's
Haley has a white noise machine.
Sorry, real quick. It's simplynoise.com is what I'm using.
There's another website that has rain sounds that you can do. I like that even better when I'm writing, and an ocean one as well, because it has sort of a lull to it.
Yeah, I haven't thought to try that. But,
drowns out the sounds from the basement.
That's what we ended up using in the for Robin instead of the white noise is like an ocean sound. So
I have an app on my iPad that I have a very specific set of sounds that are balanced, and I went through a lot of painstaking detail. I have rain, wind, ocean, just each one at a different level. Saved it, and I play that whenever I go to sleep.
Dave has a playlist that includes earth, air, wind, and fire. Is that what it is?
You know the weirdest thing about this sleep app is, though? It has a few sounds that I can't imagine anybody sleeping to. One of them being a factory sound.
Barking dogs.
Factory. Who the hell's sleeping in a factory?
It's from the album Sounds to Annoy You.
I bet
that's the steampunk sleep noise.
Given the issues that General Motors is having with all their recalls and killing people, maybe it's General Motors workers are used to sleeping on the job. I don't know.
Dave has a screaming soundtrack.
Yes. Children in jeopardy.
Children screaming makes him sleepy. It's like Sominex.
I have live sounds from an orphanage in the heart of Siberia.
I think that one of the really interesting, because when we've been doing this with the live writing stuff, is it's forced us to look at how we work, and this is something we've learned. Like, okay, so one little thing with this version issue, Sean, like whatever we decide in terms of how we're gonna sort of check out files or something, I created just a text document at the top of the research folder that's timestamp, like check in, check out. So basically, we need to get in the habit of the last thing we do before closing the file is to record what time it is, like what day. It's Friday at 2:19 p.m. And then you close it. And then so when you open it, you'll see, that's the first thing you'll see, because it'll be open to that, and you'll say, okay, this is current, because I know that I haven't been in there in the meantime, and neither has he. So I think
that's fantastic. Yeah, and it's so simple. And any solution, if it's simple, it's probably pretty close to the right one. Like that's great. All we have to do is follow that. That's the same as the snapshots. So we're trying to piece together, and the only thing that really saved us is snapshots, right? The fact that, and we've only been taking the snapshots as diligently as we have because we have to post them. Like, we have to post, okay, this is what it looked like before, this is what it looked like now. So I've been diligently taking snapshots. And I'm pretty messy. Like, sometimes I take snapshots, sometimes I don't. But because we don't normally, we don't look at them, so I do it when I think about it. But I think this proved that it's a pretty good idea to just make it part of the process. Then you can have a record.
And there's another thing that I've used as a canary. So for some reason I can't. Well, of course I can, but I don't like to write in Helvetica. Like if Sean touches a file, if he opens it, and I'm talking an individual file within Scrivener. I'm not talking about the Scrivener file. I'm talking about a chapter. It changes to Helvetica because Sean's system doesn't have Cambria, which is what I like to write in.
He also loses commas a lot. They'll turn from the curly commas to straight ones. I don't know how the hell he does it, but every time we work together, it drives me nuts.
Oh, weird. Wow. So mine is harmless. I'll just change it to Cambria if I want. I don't have to change.
But I don't think. Yeah. See, and then that's funny too, because it's a difference between systems, right? So it's not necessarily Scrivener. It's how Scrivener interacts with these two people versus these two people. It's not universal.
What I like is I would have known, because the danger here is not could we find the files, because Scrivener does take regular backups, and that's what I did. I restored from the backup that I keep outside of Dropbox. But I had to know.
How annoying!
I had to know that there was a problem. I might not have known, but by going, like I could, when I opened the backup back up, I was like, oh well, I can tell this chapter's in Cambria. Of course he didn't see this. Of course it didn't touch it.
But how? I mean, that just makes you nervous. Like, what if we've delivered the wrong files, right? What if we don't have? What if that explains Space Shuttle?
Yeah, that's the explanation.
Hey, Space Shuttle 2, bitches, just wait, it's coming.
It is coming.
If you do it, you have to call the Space Shuttle 2 Electric Boogaloo.
I don't think we're going to do that.
No, I'll do it. I'll take his fucking challenge. Hey, the last time we did that, we had Unicorn Western. Space Shuttle 2 Electric Boogaloo it is.
That would actually, that I'd buy.
All right, and you... Yes.
Dave, can you make a quick list of all of our novellas, episodes, anything that you've read in full? Just real quickly, off the top of your head.
Well, anything of yours that I've read in full?
Yes.
I think the farthest I've gotten in any of your books together was Fat Vampire, which I read like the half of the first one, and I liked it a lot.
I had nothing to do with Fat Vampire.
The question was in full.
Oh, nothing in full. I've only read 2 books in like the last year, 2 fiction books. Everything else is nonfiction.
Oh, one of the other things that we're doing.
I don't like reading. It hurts my head.
Hurts my head. I like to watch my view box.
There ain't no boobies in my books.
Oh, you're reading the wrong books. I hear there are dude-on-dude cum shots though in some collectible films. One of the things that we've decided, and we talked about this on Unboxed, but we haven't talked about it here, is I think that Sean and my process, our collaborative writing process, is going to change as a result of what we were forced into for Unboxed, which is really pretty cool. I mean, do you want to? I feel like I've been talking a lot.
Yeah, no, I think that people will like that. So we've had a lot of story meetings, and they've all been like
enough
really
that we
on the fly.
overfilled the largest possible streaming media account on Libsyn.
Wow.
Yeah, it's been insane, but there's things to sort out. There's things to figure out, and so we've had a lot of meetings, and I think my favorite one. I really, really like the last one that Dave was on, where we just totally shit the bed, where it was just like, well, we've got nothing else to say, and that was it. And we had to go take a walk, and we had to come back, and we had to say, okay, let's reboot. And the one that we had, the last one, where we figured out the ending, because Johnny rightly identified on the morning he was supposed to finish with the book, like we were done. And he was just going to put in the last 6,000 words, and he's like, oh, crap, wait. We have a great ending for a serial, but this is kind of a middle finger if it's just a book. And I was, oh, wow, you're, like, absolutely right. That's a terrible ending for a book. And so we had to sort that out, and we had to figure out who her big enemy was and really wrestle out. And it was a 2.5-hour story meeting, and I just love how it went. And it had
a 3-act story meeting. Like, we thought it was over, and then it was like, oh, let's move into another phase.
Yeah, and it had such a positive response, and I think it really helped people to see us muscle through something. I mean, it was hard. It was hard. And when we were done, it was just so gratifying, and it was just such a deep exhale, and it felt so creatively powerful. And then Johnny had to finish all that the next day. And he was, when he was done, he
Dave
showed on the camera just
on that meeting, I think.
Yeah. A table full of Post-it notes just with scribbles. And so the next day he sat down to write the 6,000 word ending and wrote 12,000 words. Had just a 12,000 word day that ended with the thing I was talking about earlier, which is eloquent and beautiful, and I love it so much. And it really was just the most amazing ending, and it came that day before through that story meeting. And we realized the value of those story meetings. Like and Dave and I mean, this is how all of Dave and, I mean, that's how Inkwell works. It's different. Our stuff does come through those story meetings. And so we saw the value in these story meetings, and Johnny's actually, we've been recording them for Unboxed, and he's been listening to them over. So it's like beat reinforcement. He's so fluid with the story when he sits down to write, and that makes for good copy and believable characters and rich thoughts. And
Dave,
so,
would you like to record your story meetings and listen back to you and Sean talk on your free time?
Yeah, I'll use that to go to sleep at night instead of the ocean sounds.
No one can go to sleep. But
we don't record ours, but I like them. I think
no,
okay.
Our story meeting. Our story meeting. I actually have a Dave story in a second.
Oh, I'll have to tell my kids.
No. Well, that's why I actually hate hearing myself a lot, which is why I can't listen to these, and I don't want to listen to me read a story. I hate that, but I'm glad people are enjoying that, and I'm happy to do it. But I can't stand the sound of my voice; it's terrible. But anyway, we really thought that these story meetings are instructive and they're great, and so but that's not normally how we work. I do a complete outline. Johnny writes a complete draft. And then I do a complete edit, and it's just very, step 1, step 2, step 3. And we thought maybe I should be editing right along behind him, and we should have more frequent story meetings before, during the process. And if that happens, then he needs to drop to a B story. So we thought the next evolution of our process really seems to be have an A story and have a B story. And so he could just, drop one and go to the next, and then we rotate the two, but then we can always be really nurturing the story as we go along.
Yeah, and I really like the idea. Well, basically, Sean will follow behind me. And so number one, we are going to record story meetings, and I'll listen back to him because it does help. Because I keep saying, I've said before, like, I get paranoid in the middle of a story meeting that I'm gonna forget something, and I'm always saying to Sean, like, are you writing this down, because I'm afraid we're gonna miss this, and this will help with that, because I thought of one during this process. I was like, oh, I don't remember this, but hey, we recorded it. I can go back and listen. So we're doing it for Unboxed, but it means that there's no reason we couldn't or shouldn't do it otherwise. And so there's that, but also, yeah, Sean's going to follow right behind me, and then I'll have a B story. Like if I run into a problem and I need to talk it out, then I'll switch to a B story and say I'll write that tomorrow instead of writing this, and then he'll do the polish from start to finish. He'll do his edit following right behind me, so that at any moment Sean will be basically right up behind me or a day behind, and we'll be able to have that meeting. And I think this has been our most collaborative project yet.
Yeah, and I think I'll know the story better, so the polish will be better.
Right.
Like the edit will be better. Like I'm not getting to know the story so much, So, anyhow.
Yeah. So we don't have time to get into it right now, but we're gonna do we're gonna have more news later about our Sterling and Stone website that we're doing, and that reminds me, Dave, you're working on the logo, right? Like you're gonna do the logo.
Nobody asked me to do the logo. What are you talking about?
Well, you could do it I thought we were talking about like interlocking S's with a big space shuttle flag in the background. What do you think?
No, I don't think you want me on that. But I do
with my
know...
shirt off. What do you think?
No, but I do know somebody that might be able to do that logo, and that is 99 Designs.
I've never heard of them. How many designs do they have?
More than 99.
Are they in any way affiliated with the 99 Red Balloons song from the 80s?
No, but they should buy the rights to that song, because that is a beautiful song.
Yeah.
99
designs flying above your book covers. Something like that. But I thought that they just, we're talking about it for book covers, but I'm talking about you doing a logo, like the S's with the space shuttle and me with my abs.
No, they do web design, clothing design, logos, and a bunch of other stuff. 99 Designs.
Holy fuck.
I don't remember that being in the ad copy.
No, this is no ad copy. This is spontaneous.
99 Designs, the world's largest graphic design marketplace, makes it easy for you to get a design you love. Just go to the website, tell them about the design you need, pick a price package that works for you. Then the fun really begins. Designers all around the globe will submit awesome designs, and you'll give them feedback. Within a week, you'll pick your favorite and be the proud owner of a gorgeous new design.
That's not your usual description of fun. There's usually a different definition of fun. So when is the torture?
With thousands of designers at your fingertips, there's no limit to what you can get designed. We've used 99 Designs for a few covers, and they've been great. And I am absolutely positive that they can even come up with a great design for the Sterling and Stone website. And I think we should do something. You should do that You should do your logo at 99 Designs.
And despite this fantastic ad copy, we are going to do our logo for Sterling and Stone through 99 Designs, and so we'll just remind you, if you want logos, T-shirts, book covers, whatever, visit 99designs.com/SPP, and you'll get a free power pack upgrade that's valued at 99. That's valued at 99 bucks.
And wait, that's not all. Projects start.
Wait, there's more.
Projects start at only $199. So, yeah, you forgot that part.
It's like you're stealing from them.
It's almost as if I didn't memorize something and it wasn't on this particular document that I wouldn't have in front of me. And
no,
that's okay.
It was the part where I said I would read the end, but that's okay.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm barely paying attention today. But we are going to do that. So that'll be fun. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and invite our guest, Tom Corson-Knowles. I forgot to confirm with him in all of this, so we'll see. If he isn't ready, then that's my fault, because I forgot to. It's been like a month, and I didn't. even think to ping
If he
it,
is,
so we'll see.
if he isn't ready, we should talk about the Sterling and Stone site.
Or
And if
we
not,
can talk about Mauricio Wolf.
Oh,
I'm
that's
looking-
the Dave story. This is the Dave story. Can I tell the Dave story while we wait?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, all right. So Dave calls yesterday, and he's giddy. All right, now wait. Okay, let me back up. So I was on a really cool call while the phone was ringing, and it's directly related to the Sterling and Stone site, and it's really cool, and it's a big thing for the business, and we're excited about it. But I had to ignore the phone because I was on this call. And then the text comes in a second later, and he's like, "I have to read you something. Call me back." And Dave is not giddy. Like when he calls and he's giddy, he only calls for two reasons: to yell about something, or like unless we have like a scheduled call. Like if it's ringing, he's either giddy about something, like probably like just anyway, or he wants to rant. But this was giddy Dave, so I'm like, okay, what does he want to read? And he says, "I want to read you the opening lines for Mauricio's chapter for Yesterday's Gone Season 5. And he's like giggly. And I'm like, okay. And then he starts, and he's 2 paragraphs in, and I'm already laughing. Like, I'm laughing. He gets another couple paragraphs in, I'm holding my side. It was so good. Now, normally, Dave's Mauricio scenes are like my action scenes. They're just like, dude, just leave notes for me. Like, just tell me what to do. And this was like, it was just so awesome. Like, I didn't have it in front of me, but I can't imagine changing anything.
I can read the opening if you'd like.
Yeah. It's so awesome. It's so Mauricio. It's just so good.
Imagine Ray Chase reading this. It'll be a lot better than me.
Yeah.
Is there a teen?
this is
is there
so
a
good.
teen show on Nick that's called It's So Mauricio?
There needs to be.
If it hadn't been for the asshole playing friends in low places for the umpteenth time, Mauricio might not have found the strength to get up from the bar and get the hell out of this shithole joint before the jolly band of jerk-offs started singing the song again. On the list of worst songs ever made, Friends in Low Places had to be number fucking 1. It had practically become an anthem for ignorant hillbilly cousin fuckers to be proud of their ignorant hillbilly cousin fucking ways. Fuck Garth Brooks for making that piece of shit song. Fuck him and fuck his sweat-stained nasty ass hat.
Wow.
And it goes on, and he just so nailed the cadence and the thought patterns, and it was so awesome, and I'm just so excited for yesterday. Like I mean, I was already excited for season 5 because it's season 5, but oh man, I just can't wait to dig in. Like it was awesome, and Dave not only did the copy sing, but he's been on a roll. He's writing every day. He's hitting 3,000 words a day. Awesome on things.
And
I just channeled my misspent youth in pool halls listening to drunks sing that song, and it was very easy.
There was also what's funny is that the relationship between Sean and Dave is a little like a married couple and a little like a helicopter parent and a kid. And so there was another "I'm proud of you" email this week, wherein Dave didn't hop onto a meeting because he was writing, and Sean was proud. So.
Well, I'm
so
happy
proud of you.
too. Like, dude, okay, it's pride, but it's also like I'm happy. Like I love writing with Dave, right? I love writing with Dave. I'm so happy when new Dave words come to me. So I'm excited. That's all. And it's perfect timing because Unbox is just wrapping up. So this is awesome. Like I'm excited for Monday. I'm excited for next week. And this has just been just such a great project. So what do you guys think? Do you think we're going to have company?
Yes, I've been emailing him, and apparently the invite isn't working. So,
Okay.
Darren Waremouth has a question in the comments. Can 99 Designs help with a logo for my new imprint, Alaskan Pipeline Publishing?
I'm positive.
It would be kind of fun to see what they would design. You know what I mean? Like, what's their moral limitations? You know, what's going to test those boundaries? But...
There has to be some fine print on the website that would prevent you from really having fun with that.
I just keep thinking to the relay operator bits on the Howard Stern show. I want to rub the phone all over the relay operators. Do not involve the relay operator in this conversation, sir.
We should do that with caption access.
Oh, well, yeah, and what's so great about that is that Jacob Toulos is transcribing for us too, and he's a fan and all this, and so yeah, we could really fuck around with him. But although it's not as much fun as if he didn't know us, you know what I mean? Like it's actually kind of more fun if we're embarrassing somebody who's.
Yeah, that is. Looking at the comments. Darren says, with Colin and I, we've decided to just do 10 chapters at a time and constantly review the plot characters. For the first book, we create an outline from the start and end up changing it significantly because we got a better feeling for the story and characters as we went along.
Is that about like frequent meetings and
well,
stuff?
I think that's, using Scrivener together or something. I mean, but you guys, that wasn't possible with this book for you guys because you're doing a 30-day book and everything was compressed.
Yeah.
Yes, but I liked, because what would happen is it would surprise me. So it would surprise me with the day's writing. So I would write one given day, and then it would that day, like something would come up. It wouldn't be something I saw coming, and then I'd be like, oh, I kind of don't know what to do here. There was one day where I had to stop like in the middle, and I had planned to write more, and I did. What do you say?
For an unscheduled workout. Oh no, an ab it's losing its shape.
Yes. So
he felt an ab getting flabby.
But my point is that
flabby ab, flabby girly man.
My point is that I didn't.
He was going to a four-pack.
Let's not actually make the point, though. It's all good. Fucking assholes. Oh yeah.
Oh, poor little ab man.
Oh, and my back already hurts from my giant wallet too.
My dick's been weighing me down.
Yeah, that would be classless. So, Sean, are you looking forward?
Totally shit all over it.
Are you looking for? I don't even remember what it was. Are you looking forward to shaving that beard off there, Beardo?
I totally am. I'm so excited for Monday. It's gonna be awesome.
Are you gonna do it live on camera for everybody?
I was just gonna ask.
No,
like the weed whacker.
No, but I did promise Haley that I would give myself a handlebar for an hour or two. So there's that.
You gotta take some pictures.
You'll be all there. Will be blood.
You should do. You know what's a great look is. Do you remember like the old timey look in the Prestige? One of the characters had one of these where it's like this, and then it goes over to the. You know what I mean? Like that thing where it's connected to your.
I could do that.
To your sideburns. Like that would be really, really cool. Here comes Tom.
I'll do that.
Hey guys, how's it going?
Hey,
good.
Tom, how you doing?
We were just talking very important stuff about sideburn foliage.
Yeah.
All sporting a little bit of facial hair today. So, sorry for the trickery getting on. So Tom Corson-Knowles is the author of the Kindle Publisher. Is it Publishers or Publishing Bible? Publishing.
Kindle Publishing Bible.
And various other books, but that is the most relevant to today's discussion because I'm sort of intrigued by your concept of frictionless publishing, and I think that was one of the things that we definitely wanted to talk about. I mean, first of all, welcome to the show. I didn't actually say that.
Thanks so much for having me. Appreciate it.
You're welcome.
And but secondly, can you describe what that is for people?
Yeah, totally. So first of all, I'll say it's a little bit controversial. So if there's anything I share on the show today that you don't agree with or doesn't work for you, that's totally fine. Like I'm not saying this is the way you have to do things, but it's just something that's worked for me and some other people, and so just some ideas to try on. So frictionless publishing is actually, I got it from the world of blogging. So in the blogging world now, that's how they publish blog posts. They call it frictionless publishing, and especially like in the media and journalism. So what they'll do is, like, if a breaking news article comes out, right? What they'll do is they'll publish the post immediately as soon as they have any information to share, and then there's
screw the facts. Let's publish.
If there's an update to the story, if there are typos or whatever, they'll just fix that later. So like the story might get 1 million views before they actually fix it and update it and change other stuff, right? So that's just how like the
as a
media works.
former journalist, I have to say that is absolutely the worst thing in the world for journalism. But go ahead.
Did I tell you that, did I tell you that
would
Dave might not be on
pretty
board with
darn
this? I think I might have mentioned that.
Continue, please.
All right. So that's how it works in journalism. There's a great book called Trust Me, I'm Lying by Ryan Holiday that talks about that whole issue with journalism. It's a fantastic book for anyone, especially authors. I would highly recommend it. Called Trust Me, I'm Lying. But so I kind of took that idea for blogging, and I noticed I noticed that when I started doing that with my blog, it helped me like double my productivity because I wasn't, second guessing myself so much. I wasn't really delaying content for like weeks or months because it wasn't ready yet. I would just post it, and then if I had a comment, there's a typo or there's an error or whatever, or if I want to come back into a second edition, I would just do that, and I would just edit it and it would be live right away. So I started to do that with my books. I kind of tested it out because what happened was I had a book ready, and I sent it out to my editor, and the editor like never got back to me. It took like 2 months, didn't get back to me, and I was like, oh man, I kind of screwed on this. And I told my email list that I was going to publish this book. So I was like, well, I'll just edit the best I can myself, and I'll publish it, and then I'll find another editor to help me out and revise it. So what I did is I published it early. And so that's what frictionless publishing is. It's basically you publish your book when it's between the first draft and the final draft. So it's done, it's complete, but you would probably want to have another edit or so, or you might want to revise more, you might want to add a little bit more to it. So I think it works best for nonfiction, right? Because like for a novel, I mean, it'd be a little bit ridiculous if like, the timeline didn't match up or, whatever. You could have some big mistakes if you haven't really edited your novel. But for nonfiction, like, if I wanted to add an extra chapter, I can always do that later, because it's nonfiction, so it's a little bit different. So that's kind of frictionless publishing.
Do you have a excuse me? Do you have a sliding scale for pricing? Like, is it free when it's unedited and then you raise the price, or is it 99
The crappy
cents?
version's free.
Right. Well, yeah. Is there? Do you escalate the price along with the quality, or do you expect somebody who's buying essentially a beta book full price? Like, how do you reconcile that?
Yeah, so I usually do 99 cents for this. So it's 99 cents. It's super cheap. Yeah, that's how I do it. And
so would the 99-cent book be a regular $2.99 book? Like,
right,
if it's
$2.99 or $4.99 or something like that later.
And do you tell readers in the sales copy, hey, this is unedited, this isn't as good as it's going to get, or do you leave that part out?
No, I don't do that. I just leave that part out. Yeah, and it isn't. So just to clarify, it's not like completely unedited. So I mean, I've edited it myself. It's not like there's just thousands of typos in this book and it's just garbage. It's just that it's not the final draft yet, right? It's not the final copy. Like I've intended more for this product. I just haven't got there yet. And so there's a lot of benefits to this. So first of all, it's kind of like for me, it helped me destroy my procrastination, right? Because otherwise, it's easy to put off a book launch for weeks or months or even years, right? Because it's just you feel like, oh, it's not ready yet. The other thing is and I'm sure you guys talked about on the show beta readers and how valuable beta readers are. But if you're a brand new author and you don't have beta readers, it can be a pain in the butt to go find people to be beta readers. But if you publish on Amazon or Nook or whatever, you can find people who buy your book and essentially become your beta readers for you, right? Because they've bought your book and they'll leave you a review, they'll send you emails and help you figure out, how you can improve.
What's the tone of those that you get? Because I can imagine that going in two directions. Like if you're sort of upfront with the people that you launch it to or whatever, then they can say, okay, well this is Tom's process or whoever uses it, and we're going to help.
He's not. He doesn't put that in the sales copy, so.
Well, right. So that's part of the question, though. Like maybe if you do tell them, but if you don't, I'm wondering if you just get a bunch of, rather than helpful, just negative reviews because you are putting out something that isn't polished.
Yeah, and let me piggyback on that because that would be my concern, especially for a new writer. I think this is a good idea for blogging, unless you're blogging factual news stories, and then you fuck up somebody's life because you printed the wrong thing, then that's horrible. But if you're blogging like most bloggers, for entertainment value, or for opinion pieces on news, then this is great. I agree with you. This is great. You get out of your own way, and you can go to market. You can be first to market. For books, though, my big concern is that if somebody doesn't know that this is an unpolished draft, and this is their first book that they bought from you, they're going to have a negative response and be like, oh, this is shit. Unless it's a great first draft, but I mean, they're gonna be like, this isn't great, and it's gonna stain. That's their first impression of you. Will they continue? Will they hang around for the update? Will they buy the next book? I mean, this is a bad first date, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, there's definitely like there's a whole spectrum, right? From like first draft, it's just like absolutely first draft completely unedited, just garbage, and like final draft after like. I interviewed Steve Berry, who's sold like 17 million novels, and he's like, I edit my book minimum 60 to 75 times before my editor even sees it, right? So there's definitely this spectrum here on like editing and like how polished your product is. So for me, I would say I'm more like in the middle of the spectrum where I've got some good edits, and that's when I do the frictionless publishing thing, and then I do maybe one or two more editors after that, right? So I'm not talking about like you write your first draft that's shit and then you publish that immediately and to get feedback. Like, that's not how I do it. But what I'm saying
content is
like,
quality. It's just not.
Like, what I do with frictionless publishing is I pull the trigger before I feel like I'm really ready, right? And that forces me to stop procrastinating and stop saying, hey, look, I need to edit again and again and again and again and again, right?
I see pros and cons,
right.
but that was the one thing. Oh, Sean's on.
I'll go over one another.
Sean's probably got the delay.
Yeah.
Let me just since I got 30 seconds into it before your delay kicked in, I'll continue.
I've got the delay.
Love the delay. I don't even remember where I was going. Where was I going? I have no idea.
What do you guys talk about reviews? So I didn't quite talk about that.
The reviews. Oh man, I can't remember what I was saying. So. Oh, I was saying that I see pros and cons, and I think that one of the things that is a real pro, and I think too, like, it does depend where you are on the spectrum. I said that like my Fat Vampire books, I didn't have anybody other than my wife beta read it. Like they didn't go to a professional editor. But I think that a lot of people do get hung up and say, I can't publish this because I'm obsessed with thinking that it's not going to be perfect. And we do hear that, like, people hesitate to pull the trigger. And so the reason that I thought it would be interesting to have you on to talk about this is sort of in the spirit of how do you get out of your own way? How do you go ahead and just, it's like, I can't think of an example of a comparative thing, but I know there are all sorts of things you can do to build inevitability into your life. Like, one that doesn't have anything to do with publishing is, if you don't meet a goal by a certain day, you have to pay a friend $100 or something like that. And I like the way it kind of puts your feet to the grill.
Mm-hmm. Totally. Yeah. I mean, it's like you said. It's like a forces you to get it done, right? So there's no more BSing yourself, right? Like, this is published, and what it does once it's live is like you're motivated, right? So if you're like find yourself putting off editing for weeks or months or whatever. You publish your book, it's live, and like, hey, I really need to do more work on this. Like, you're gonna do it right away. Like, you're not gonna put it off. You know what I mean? Because you want that best product for your readers. You want to do it right away. And when you update an ebook, it's like 24 hours, 48 hours, or whatever till it's updated. So you can make those changes really, really fast.
What were you gonna say, Sean?
All right.
Sean is speechless. That never occurs.
We can hear you. Hello?
He forgot too. No, he's speechless. Not he's muted. He's going to leave. He's like, I don't even remember what I was going to say. I almost want to wait, because if we start in and say something else and then Sean pops back in, it's probably Google's
He's having Google issues.
He's probably making him sign up. All right, so I have another question that I'll ask while we're doing this. So it's the same version, right? So I guess what I mean is it's the same title on, like, Amazon. So you aren't publishing a totally separate book and then removing the first. You're updating the manuscript. Is that correct?
Yeah, normally that's how I would do it. Yeah, I mean, if you got like 10 one-star reviews, and people said, hey, this book is awful, needs editing or whatever, you could just delete it and republish it under a different name or whatever. But I've never had that happen. I mean, the worst thing I've ever had happen doing this was that I got 2 one-star reviews. Right, that's like the worst I've ever had.
It feels to me like a phenomenal idea for a writer who tends to procrastinate and probably is ready and just isn't pulling the trigger. And I think it may be a bad idea for somebody who thinks they're awesome, isn't awesome, and then they put out work that isn't ready. So I guess it just depends on self-honesty is sort of where I'm at on that.
Yeah, I don't know what I don't know what I missed, but essentially I think I like a lot of it. Okay, I'm the first to say that perfect is the enemy of done, and that you really do want to ship. That's really, really important. And I think it may just be a semantic thing, because I actually hear you saying I edit a few times before it goes out, you know, and we only edit a few times really, so maybe there's not that big a difference here. Maybe you're talking about like a really big, thorough edit, or basically just somebody procrastinating a little bit where they normally, you know, they're just not doing what they know they could do. But I think it sounds dangerous, because it's like dieting through bulimia. It's like you're not getting the nutrients there, and it really is. It's scary, because Dave's totally right. That first exchange with a reader is, you know, that's all important. And again, this may be a difference between fiction and nonfiction, because narrative flow and story elements and all of those, that's not something you want to give a beta experience for. You just don't, because that reader's not going to come back. You're going to. It is the kiss.
Hey, we decided to let the guy live at the end.
Right, like you don't want version issues on something like that. Nonfiction is different, as long as, you know, it doesn't have to be as tight, as long as you're delivering information and that information is consumable and helps the person accomplish whatever objective they wanted before they bought the book. But I think with fiction or any story, part of what a reader is buying is the best possible reading experience. And while they don't have any right to expect that on a blog post is free, and it is by the nature of blogging, it's not permanent, so that's okay. But when somebody buys a book, there's kind of a silent covenant with the reader. I'm giving you $3 or $4 or $5 or $6, and you're giving me the very best possible reading experience, which is why you'll see, you know, poorly edited books get cut up in reviews, because readers don't like that. They expect more.
I think this is something that's
I don't know if there's a question there, but
I think there's a danger here that, especially with nonfiction books, if I'm writing a nonfiction book, I want to write a well-researched, good nonfiction book. I don't want to be first to market necessarily. I think a lot of info marketers want to be first to market, just put something out there and get the easy money, regardless of the experience for people. I think you really need to balance that. And you know, if if you've done the research and you've got good content and you're not doing it just to be first, then yeah, this can be a good thing to get out of your own way. If the content is so good that it is, you know, better than a few typos or whatever, that's fine. But if you're just rushing something out there to be first, that's a danger. You're going to ruin your name.
Doesn't sound like that to me.
No, yeah. But I'm just saying. I'm not specifically speaking to what he's saying. I'm saying the danger of going to that extreme, though. And I think a lot of info marketers just putting shit out there under 15 different names, and they don't give a fuck. They're just collecting the easy money.
Yeah, I've noticed that a lot. Like in the last
not that easy.
3 years on Kindle, like the nonfiction market it's just like ridiculous. Like, you know, you look at like puppy training books, and there's like 1,000 books on puppy training with like these awful covers and like, you know, 12 pages long, and it's like
they're all from
like
Fiverr, right?
Stuff,
they're all from Fiverr.
Like, and it's not that like there aren't any great
that's
authors
definitely
writing nonfiction books. It's just that there's a lot of infomarketers, like you said, who are in the space now and hire a ghostwriter in the Philippines or whatever, and maybe have one or two edits and publish it. And, but obviously that's not our audience. That's not what we do as authors. And so there's definitely those two ends of the spectrum for sure.
I like the ticking clock nature. I mean, I really, really do. Like, because that's the sort of thing that it's like I said, it's like the thing of if I don't do X by whatever, then I have this penalty. Like, I kind of like that. Somebody told me once about an alarm clock that if you tend to snooze it too much, like it has wheels and it falls off and runs around the room. You gotta chase it. Like, that's kind of awesome. So I like the idea of putting obstacles in your own way. And I think that one of the lessons I would get, whether you literally did something like this or not, is the nature of putting yourself out there you're committing yourself. And I liked what you said early on, Tom, about like then you have now I gotta hurry and get that edit done because I have something out there that I don't feel is 100% yet, and so you can't let it back burner because somebody might buy it or people are buying it or something like that. So I do like that aspect of it for sure.
And I will say,
I think this is a simple thing.
I was just gonna say,
I like that we all have more. We're all talking much more than our guest. I like
in the past, when I did comics, I wasn't nearly good enough to do them when I did them, but I did them anyway because I didn't know how bad I was, and that worked out to my benefit because I got better on the job. And I think with Available Darkness, our first book, I would have spent more time on it, but I had already spent, we'd spent a lot of time on it, and we got good while we were writing. And I think writing is an evolving process where you get good, but you do want to make sure that the first book that you put out there is something that is of quality, because it is the first experience that you're having with a reader. So, but you seem to agree with that, correct?
I mean, yes and no. I mean, there's a great quote that I really agree with. It says, anything worth doing is worth doing poorly at first. And I learned this by a guy named Keith Cunningham, who's a
okay. My dad would kill that man with a hammer.
Okay, wait.
Yeah, but Dave's dad also has many other issues going on.
Right.
Okay, wait.
So
Hold on.
Uh-huh.
I actually agree with that quote, but here's the rub, and here's sometimes I don't even know why something rankles me until I talk it out, right? And I get it now. I understand what it is that I'm objecting to here. Yes, everything worth doing is doing worth poorly first. I totally agree with that. I don't agree with knowing something isn't as good as it can be and willfully charging for it. Yeah, because we work fast, and Available Darkness is a great example. Dave would have edited that until 2091. Like, he just would have. The beat would have come true, and he would have still been editing Available Darkness because it wouldn't have been good enough.
But in Dave's case, wouldn't it make sense to just publish what you feel is an inferior? Because I think it's the perception of a writer thinking their own way.
Right. So yes, I totally agree. But never at any point. What the line that we had to cross was, is this good enough to publish? And once we said yes, then we published it. We didn't say, we're going to publish this, but it's not good enough. So now there's a ticking clock, and we're going to make it good enough, even though other people are already reading the version that isn't good enough. All right. It's like, if we know
what if you later discovered that it wasn't good enough?
Round table debate here. I love it.
Wait. Let me just finish. So I think that that's all fine. I think actually this is all totally okay if in the product description you let people know this is 99 cents and this is why. This is like 89% of what I want it to be, or it's 81% boss, right? It's almost there, but I want to finish it. I want to make it better, and for right now it's 99 cents. And I think if you address the objection in the copy, this is all okay. I think pretending something or not pretending, but when you know something isn't as good as it's going to be, you should tell your buyer. That's
you
it.
Toyed with that idea?
You can talk now. They'll shut up.
I haven't done that just for my books because they are nonfiction, and it's like everything's there. I mean, it's like, we're basically talking about typos and, maybe an extra idea or two that I want to throw in that I just haven't come to me yet. So I don't. But like what I'll do is if I do make it like add a whole chapter as a significant change, in Amazon, you can just send out an update to all your buyers and say, hey, there's a new edition of the book. You can grab it here, and then they all get the updated version of the book.
You can
now,
do
the
that.
problem.
I've
wait,
never heard of that.
There is a problem with that though, because especially with nonfiction, when you have a nonfiction book, I tend to highlight stuff, and I bookmark stuff. I put notes on stuff, and when you update a book, that's all gone.
Mm-hmm.
How do you even do that? I've never even. How do you update a book? Never heard of that.
You let them know.
Oh, you let Amazon know?
Yeah, you Amazon KDP, and you let them know, hey, I've got a serious revision to the book. Here's the changes that we made. And then
they
send out. It has to be serious. It can't just be like typos fixing. They want to email your customers about, you fix some typos.
Yeah, and they send out an email, and then you can elect whether or not you want to update the book. But you do lose all that extra stuff that you may have added into the book. So I think that's a negative for a nonfiction book.
But Tom, it's clearly not generating many negative reviews for you. So I'm just wondering.
Yeah, I mean, I've never sold more than 50 books doing this because the other thing I do with this is I don't tell people. I don't publish the book at 99 cents and go email my list and say, hey, my new book's live yet. I just publish it and it's live, but I don't promote it at all. right? So the only people buying it are people who just find it on Amazon.
So what?
Right? So the most I've ever sold is like 50 copies between the time I Frictionless published and then had the final version live.
So why would you put it out there if you're not telling people to buy it? I mean, don't you want to sell a lot of books right away in the first?
Because it starts his ticking clock. Yeah, it starts his ticking clock. It's like it's live.
It's not about buyers. It's about the writer.
Right. Because then he actually wants to tell his list. He can't tell his list until he fixes it. That makes sense to me now. I get it.
But you can do the same thing without publishing it. Just this is a mental.
No, because. Right, but mental games work. Know what your fences are. But I understand.
You're starting a blog for accountability. You're on.
I mean, it's like, people who like share on social media, like, hey, I'm gonna my goal is to lose 20 pounds in the next whatever months. It's like that. You get that social pressure, like, oh, I really. Now people expect this of me, so now I have to go do it. Like, there's no.
Start a walking podcast.
Maybe that's why Dave
get to episode 4
with that.
No, it is why he doesn't jive with it, because those fences don't mean as much. But if you are used to building fences of discipline and you know what works for you, that actually is a good idea. And it seems like you're using it perfectly. I just think the danger is somebody following that advice and not understanding the intricacies of your whys, because your decisions are clearly layered and intelligent. But that doesn't mean that it's like when somebody copies a strategy but they don't understand why the person is doing what they're doing, they're just copying the strategy wholesale and they go making a lot of mistakes, because that's what happens when you copy people but you don't know why. The what is only this important compared to the why, almost always.
Darren Waremouth weighed in. He asks, does Tom have any structural or copy edit experience? Personally, I wouldn't be comfortable putting out a product without a professional polish, each to their own naturally.
No, I don't have experience as a trained editor. I didn't go to school for writing. Just taught myself, learned on my own. I mean, I had some great teachers in high school, but then I learned on my own.
Neither do I, though, Tom, and I've done exactly the same thing. And for the record, a lot of Realm and Sands titles only see Sean and I and don't see our editor. I think it depends on the writer, but you have to be honest with yourself and know where you stand.
Well, that's what I'm saying, though. When we never put it out and think, okay, we're going to come back to this later. Like, that's just a slippery slope. Like, what if you get busy? What if it just drops off your radar? And I don't know, if a book has my name on it, it has my name on it forever, And so I just want to make sure that everybody has the best possible experience with that.
I see both sides.
Okay, I have a very important question to ask. Who is that? Abraham Lincoln behind you? Who's the photo?
It is Abraham Lincoln, yeah.
And a candle. Why do you have nothing else on your shelves? I just want to put something.
That's a funny question. So we actually have a series of other photos that we're going to have on there, but they're just not done yet. So my fiance is doing those.
Okay.
That's
Can I
one
see
of
more modern junk to put on your shelves, because it just feels.
That's one of our Kickstarter rewards. Dave will come over and decorate your place.
Oh, good.
Thanks. Tom, we have a compressed schedule today because Sean's got to get to something with his daughter, so I think we're going to need to be done. But is there anything else that you want people to know about? The Kindle Publishing Bible,
where to find you?
Websites, where to find you?
Yeah, so you can find me on Amazon, Tom Corson-Knowles, or check out the website for my publishing company, TCK Publishing, and there we have a blog. We talk about all our different marketing experiments and stuff like that with publishing.
Cool. All right, fantastic. Thank you for being.
Thank you for being on.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.
On our most discordant show ever, where I can barely keep track of anything. But hey, we got through the show, so that's great. And I got you on despite the Hangout issues. So again, Tom Corson-Knowles, his book is, well, many books, but the why can't this not go? Come on, iPad. There we go. Kindle Kindle Publishing Bible. And thanks for joining us on the Self Publishing Podcast.
Thanks so much.
Everybody. Thanks for coming on, Tom. And we will see you next time.